BKSS version 8 to be announced soon. Malaysia to further relax its SOP, and Lee Zijia has been granted the green light to turn professional. Those are the headlines for tonight. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Muhammad Yusuf and this is TVS Nightline. Let us begin. Sarawak needs a civil service that is capable of being competent and act effectively in line with the state's development. In an effort to improve service delivery, the state government will be reviewing the existing procedures and bureaucracy. Therefore, the state civil service are urged to no longer blame the COVID-19 pandemic on the delays of project deliveries.
But with COVID-19 on the downward trend, I cannot inform them that delays are because of COVID-19 anymore. We must deliver the project to our rakyat as promised.
Abang Johari said this when officiating the Sarawak Civil Service SCS Day 2022 in Kuching today. He also called on to review the existing procedures and bureaucracy which are no longer relevant at improving delivery services to the people.
I do hope all of you who are members of our state administration machinery will take note of this. If there is any need to revamp the procedures, then revamp them.
The Chief Minister, Datuk Petinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tunopeng, will announce the Bantuan Khas Sarawakku Sayang or BKSS 8.0 soon. It involves non-cash assistance to continue assisting in reducing the burden of the people for the first 6 months of 2022.
Saya akan melancarkan package BKSS 8 yang melibatkan bantuan bukan tunai untuk terus membantu mengurangkan beban rakyat bernilai 285.47 juta merangkumi 6 bulan pertama tahun 2022.
Abang Johari said the package is the highest allocation ever provided by the state government in Malaysia to assist Sarawakian that had been affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. The package does not include a special allocation amounting to more than 91 million ringgit to the Sarawak State Disaster Management Committee SDMC, which cover the expenses of dealing with the pandemic in the state. Now, in line with the effort to narrow the urban and rural divide as Sarawak aspires to be a developed state by 2030, a total of 12,770 rural transformation projects have been implemented since 2015.
And 330 Project Rakyat to cater for the needs and improve the well-being of the people of Sarawak. The civil service has helped the state government to achieve 99% of treated water supply coverage in urban areas and 66.5% coverage in rural areas.
According to State Secretary Dr. Amar Jaul Samyon, more than 300,000 households in rural areas now enjoy 24 hours electricity supply, which is in line with Sarawak's target to achieve full electrification in rural areas by 2025.
As to date, 96% of the rural population enjoys 24 hours of electricity.
He assures that the state civil service will continue to support the state government's policy in delivering quality service delivery to further drive the growth of the state's economy.
Sarawak Deputy Chief Minister Datuk Sri Dr. Sim Kui Hian is very grateful that SDMC is willing to hear the requests from the Chinese community and revise its standard operating procedure for Chinese New Year.
The SOP, I'm very grateful for the SDMC and under Dr. Ahmad Douglas will reconsider the request of the Chinese community, especially taking into consideration all the number of cases that we have, and even though we know the risk of Omicron and so on. Dr. Ahmad Douglas take all the medical experts recommendation into consideration, and so that's why it revised the SOP yesterday.
In addition to that, Sim thanked SDMC Chairman Dr. Amar Douglas Ugambas for taking into consideration the cultural needs of the Chinese community.
Amar Douglas also take into consideration of the cultural needs and the cultural dance, and of course, it's the understanding understanding of the people. That's why we cannot fulfill every wishes of everyone. Yeah, but because we still had to COVID-19. We still had COVID-19 around, and at this point of time, the COVID-19 the number is low. Partially, it's because we've been encouraging people to do self-testing. So a lot of people do self-testing, and when they're positive, they just do self-isolation and not reported to authority. You know, because as we're living with the virus, that's why we need to do that.
Sim hopes that with the children vaccination for 5 to 11 years old commencing on February 3rd, it will be able to create a safer environment for the school children. He stated that Sarawak is still lagging in terms of healthcare facilities as compared to West Malaysia. Earlier, Dr. Sim was met during the Media Appreciation 2022 event, which was held by the Federation of Chinese Associations Kuching, Samarahan and Syrian Division, where he handed over ang pao to media representatives.
And in related news, Sarawak Dragon Lion Dance and Wushu Association finally heaved a sigh of relief when the ban was finally lifted. Its chairman, Kelvin Kong, said that the relaxation will provide its members opportunity to earn during this festivity.
Regarding our government, Sarawak government, SDMC yesterday already announced our new SOP for this coming Chinese New Year, especially the Lion and Dragon Dance. For my opinion, actually it's very good for our Lion and Dragon Dance Association. This is a good opportunity and a chance to give back for us because actually we are stopped Dragon and Lion Dance for about 2 years already.
While grateful that they finally given the green light, Kelvin stressed that its members will abide by the SOP guidelines to minimize the risk of COVID-19 transmission. On Monday, SDMC released an update to its CNY SOP, which now allows lion dance performance and celebration on the first and second day of Chinese New Year.
Now, the dilapidated school is indeed a hot issue, often being raised in Sarawak. Recently, a fake news which went viral on social media where a student fell to her death at SK Long Bamang Miri due to the decomposed wooden barrier at its veranda area. Telang Usan Assemblyman Dennis Ngau said such news only brings about negative impact for everyone involved.
Yang paling terkesan di atas tulisan-tulisan yang sedemikian adalah ibu bapa pelajar itu, dan juga termasuklah ibu bapa pelajar-pelajar SK Long Bamang dan juga komuniti Long Bamang at large. Sebab ibu bapa dan komuniti Long Bamang ini sedaya upaya melakukan apa yang terbaik untuk memastikan sekolah selamat. Jadi bila ada tulisan-tulisan yang keterlaluan sehingga menyatakan budak ini mati, saya tak tahu apa sebab dia lah. Tapi itu memang tak betul.
Dennis added, nobody wants such a thing to happen. Moreover, when it involves the life of a student. As soon as he found out about the incident, he immediately contacted the headmaster of the said school to find out the truth.
Jadi ada kayu-kayu itu sebenarnya termasuklah rel yang terlepas di mana budak ini terjatuh. Dia dari luar dia nampak tak buruk. Dia pun ada cat. Kalau kamu tengok gambar di mana budak itu baring, ada sebatang kayu di sebelah dia itu. Itulah kayu yang terlepas itu. Dan dari mata kasar kita lihat kayu ini tidak buruk. Tetapi tiada yang nak tahu yang di sebelah tempat kayu ini dipaku, where it is nailed to the tiang, inilah yang sebenarnya buruk dalam, yang orang tak nampak. Puji Tuhan dia tidak menghadapi kejeraan yang serius.
Meanwhile, Syria Minister of Education Datuk Dr. Radzi Jidin, through a post on his Facebook, said The tender process for the construction of buildings and upgrading of SK Long Bemang facilities will begin next month.
Right, issues on dilapidated schools is no stranger in Sarawak. A matter close to Sarawak Teachers Union, or STU, forcing a constant expression of concern by the union and parents on the safety of the school occupants. Its president, Adam Prakash, came out once more questioning the long haul in solving the matter.
Jadi STU merayulah ya, dan kita memohon kepada kerajaan negeri, the immediate governance, agar melihat perkara sekolah daif ini dengan lebih serius dan diambil tindakan segera. Kita memahami proses-proses yang perlu dilalui seperti tender, seperti untuk mendapatkan tanah untuk sekolah baru dan sebagainya. But this cannot be the excuse forever. Ya, kita tidak boleh menerima alasan ini bertahun-tahun kerana sudah tentu ada penyelesaian dia. The question is, bila penyelesaian itu boleh dilakukan. So we need immediate action. STU berharap pelajar-pelajar di sekolah, guru-guru di sekolah boleh berada dalam keadaan selamat.
On a similar development, dilapidated schools are prone to safety hazards, which remain a hot topic, whereby schools in Sarawak are still falling behind as compared to other schools in Malaysia.
Kita juga menyeru kepada Kementerian Pendidikan Malaysia, khasnya kepada Menteri Kanan Pendidikan, agar mengambil tindakan segera. Ya, kita tidak perlulah membuat lawatan demi lawatan untuk melihat keadaan sekolah daif ini. We know bila dikatakan daif maksudnya keadaan yang tidak selamat. Maka tindakan sekarang is time for action. So STU berharap untuk melihat tindakan segera diambil sebelum perkara-perkara yang lebih buruk berlaku kepada pelajar dan juga guru-guru di sekolah. Kita sangat-sangat mengharapkan dan kita tahu kerajaan kita pada hari ini berkemampuan untuk membantu sektor pendidikan di Sarawak.
Last Wednesday, January 19, a primary 3 student at SK Long Bemang was reported to have fallen from the school's wooden veranda. The victim suffered minor injuries to the head.
Ayah, tu jeep salah siapa?
我是 Alice。Alice，
咱做两假命。
哎呦，这世界，歹要是件重要吧？无好好保护家己，其实互掠去都袂知啊。呀，我有赶时间啊，会通开车无？
With seat belt.
哦。
老诶，还没人来诶。
路比较榴莲比哦。
Apa cerita sebenarnya?
Aku sih ingat.
Kawan kau bunuh diri. Kau boleh sih ingat apa hubungan kau dengan Mehron? Aku masih lagi terfikir sebab apa aku sama dengan kita orang. Terkurung dalam tu. Aku kenal Dunstan, aku kenal Vinay, aku bawa kenal Awing, kau, aku langsung sekenal. Aku warning kau awal-awal, jangan sesekali main dengan aku.
Kamu itu siapa?
Ya, dipikir kau.
Kita perlu settle case tu, Wan.
What an awkward moment.
Semua tahu kena kami lihat. Terima kasih banyaknya. Dah. Suai masyarakat. Kami nak buta kotor. Buta otin. Pakai.
Welcome back to TVS Nightline. Now, this just in. Chief Minister Datuk Patinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg today thanked constituents in Gedong for their mandate towards him in leading the constituency for the next 5 years. In his speech, the Chief Minister also thanked former Gedong Assemblyman Datuk NARODEN Majais for paving the way for him to contest in the recent state election, and he promised to bring in major development to the rural areas in Sarawak. To tell us more about tonight's function, we have our reporter Burhanuddin Kamil on the line. Take it away, Burhan.
Thank you, studio. I have just attended the Dun N26 Gedong Appreciation Dinner held at Imperial Hotel Kuching. Tonight's dinner served as an appreciation for Gabungan Parti Sarawak GPS for their victory in Gedong, in which GPS Chairman Datuk Patinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg contested for the first time after moving from Dun Satok. In his speech, he thanked former Gedong Assemblyman Datuk NARODEN Majais for offering his seat to defend the constituency. Here's a bit of what he said.
Mengambil kesempatan ini juga untuk mengucap terima kasih kepada Yang Berbahagia Datuk NARODEN yang telah kerja kuat di Gedong bersama-sama dengan kita. Bagaimana kita hendak membangunkan apa yang saya sebut sebagai kawasan barat Sarawak. Dan kita telah membangunkan jalan pesisir. Apakah jalan pesisir ini akan mengubah nasib orang luar bandar? Ini soalan yang besar. Dan insya-Allah kita memberi nasihat dan sokongan, memang kita hendak mengubahkan keadaan ekonomi di kawasan-kawasan tersebut.
Also present at the dinner were the Chief Minister's wife, Datuk Amar Jumaani Tuanku Bujang, Datuk NARODEN Majais, Tourism, Arts and Culture Minister, Datuk Sri Nancy Shukri, Youth, Sport and Entrepreneur Development Minister, Datuk Sri Abdul Karim Rahman Hamzah. That is all from me, Burhanuddin Kamil and Muhammad Rafiq for TVS.
Thank you, Burhan. Now, Stakhan aims to position itself as a major economic hub in achieving sustainable development goals through elevating socio-economic status. Stakhan Assemblyman Datuk Hamzah Ibrahim said the potential is huge, given how close Stakhan is to the city centre, Kuching, and hopes that with the rapid development, Stakhan could one day be recognised as a town.
Berkenaan dengan Stakhan yang kemungkinan kita bahas one day nanti akan menjadi sebuah bandar adalah saya melihat di segi hubungan ekonomi antara kawasan Stakhan dengan Kuching. So Bandaraya Kuching adalah satu pusat ekonomi untuk negeri Sarawak. Tapi kebanyakan pengamal ekonominya yang berada di kawasan Stakhan terlibat dengan industri ekonomi di wilayah Kuching. So sebab itulah kalau kita lihat taburan taman-taman di kawasan Stakhan semakin hari semakin besar, semakin berkembang. So industri ekonomi yang ada di Kuching tidak mustahil satu hari nanti akan bertapak di kawasan Stakhan.
When asked on his economic strategy to develop Stakhan, Hamzah said among his major focus is bridging the government initiative and the people, introducing any forms of opportunities, subsidies or grants made available to encourage further involvement by the locals in the sector.
Jadi contohnya kalau kita cerita pasal ACDC daripada Kementerian Usahawan dan sebagainya, banyak himbuhan-himbuhan, subsidi-subsidi, geran-geran daripada mereka. Jadi saya nak cari maklumat ni, saya bawa kepada penduduk Stakhan supaya mereka boleh terlibat dengan apa dasar yang diamalkan oleh kerajaan sebelum ini. Ini akan menjadikan Stakhan akan lebih aktif dengan industri-industri yang dibantu oleh kerajaan. Kita sambut di bahagian rakyat di Lebah. Kita jadi bahagian orang yang menghubungkan. Artinya kita memperkasakan sistem yang sedia ada.
Now on to some crime news. A 20-year-old man was arrested at a restaurant in Bau for allegedly selling illegal lottery tickets to the public. Police officers who were at the scene conducted a thorough check on the suspect and seized papers with numbers and cash.
According to the Bau District Police Chief Poji Nyaond, the case was reported by a local who has been keeping tabs on the suspect. Following a background check, Poji stated the suspect has showed no past criminal record. The operation was carried under the Op Dadu. The case is now being investigated under Section 4(1)(a) of the Common Gaming Houses Act 1953. If the suspect is found guilty, he will be punished with a fine of not less than 20,000 ringgit and not more than 200,000 ringgit or 5 years of jail time.
Right, Putrajaya is considering further relaxation of the standard operating procedures once the COVID-19 vaccination process in the country, including the administration of booster doses, is completed. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob said if the SOPs are too rigid, it would affect the national tourism industry.
However, the Prime Minister said the matter depends on the recommendations and advice from the Ministry of Health.
Tapi saya lihat bahawa setengah negara telah pun mengurangkan dari segi SOP untuk pelancong ke negara mereka. Mungkin perkara ini akan dipertimbangkan sebab kita lihat kalau 2 dos sudah pun selesai, booster sudah pun selesai, saya percaya kita boleh memberikan sedikit lagi kelonggaran. Ini terpulanglah kepada Kementerian Kesihatan untuk memberikan pandangan.
He noted that although the domestic tourism sector had been reopened, foreign tourists had yet to be allowed to enter the country, while being aware that the reopening of the international tourism industry would help revive the economy and make the situation better for everybody in the country.
Cuma yang kita masih tutup adalah sempadan negara. Dan kita terpaksa lakukan ini kerana seperti kita tahu, negara luar juga mempunyai kes yang tinggi dari segi kes COVID-19 ini, dan sebab itulah kita masih berhati-hati untuk membuka sempadan kita walaupun kita telah pun memulakan dengan Singapura iaitu VTL, dan saya bila ke Indonesia juga telah pun berbincang untuk memulakan VTL dengan Indonesia dan sepatutnya ke Thailand untuk VTL daripada Malaysia ke Thailand. Tetapi kerana kes semakin meningkat di negara-negara luar sekalipun, maka kita menggantung dari segi pergerakan keluar negara.
In related news, Prime Minister Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob once again assures Malaysians that no Movement Control Order or MCO will be implemented, especially during Hari Raya Aidilfitri celebrations. Instead, the government will adopt methods as per the advice from the Ministry of Health MOH, especially those involving the Standard Operating Procedure SOPs.
Lebih daripada 98% rakyat kita divaksinasi 2 dos, dan sekarang ini dalam peringkat untuk booster. Dan saya percaya dengan apabila rakyat kita telah mendapat vaksinasi sebanyak 2 dos dan tambahan lagi booster, kita tak perlu bimbang lagi dari segi kerajaan untuk menutup sektor ekonomi dan juga menyekat pergerakan rakyat. 2 hari lepas saya dah umumkan bahawa kerajaan tidak akan lagi membuat PKP, iaitu menyekat pergerakan rakyat. Dari segi pergerakan, tidak ada lagi istilah menyekat pergerakan daerah ke daerah ataupun negeri ke negeri lagi. Saya memang sengaja sebut kita akan buka dan tidak akan tutup lagi, malah pergerakan dibenarkan, sebab dah ada dalam media-media sosial, dah menyebut rumours yang mengatakan bahawa hari raya ni tak boleh balik kampung. Kita ni raya lah utamanya ni. Jadi raya tak boleh balik kampung, perniagaan akan ditutup kembali. Sebab itu 2 hari lepas saya umumkan bahawa tidak akan tutup, raya boleh balik kampung raya.
Additionally, Ismail said the government will continue to focus on decreasing the number of daily COVID-19 infections while recovering the nation's economy. Now, Egypt is striving hard to establish itself as a re-export center for Malaysian palm oil throughout Africa as well as neighboring Arab countries. Egypt's ambassador to Malaysia, Ragai Taufik Said Nasir, said it is timely for Egypt and Malaysia to accelerate the plan as the North African country assumed the presidency of the Common Market for Eastern and Southern Africa, COMESA, this year, which comprises 21 member states.
Said Nasser expressed that there are a lot of incentives under COMESA. Thus, Malaysian palm oil can be exported from Egypt, using these incentives to the African countries. He said Egypt is working on establishing a palm oil factory or storage facility in Egypt in the near future. According to Said Nasser, the issue was also discussed during former Malaysian Foreign Minister Datuk Sri Hishamuddin Tun Hussein's visit to Egypt in June last year. On bilateral trade between both countries this year, he said the total value is expected to exceed the $1 billion mark or 4.19 billion ringgit recorded in 2021, which was an increase of 85% from the previous year. This indicates a substantial breakthrough and a desire on both sides to expand commerce since there are several options to be explored, although in the midst of the pandemic. On the political front, Said Nasser noted that Malaysia and Egypt have enjoyed fruitful relations since the establishment of bilateral ties in 1957.
Apa cerita sebenarnya?
Aku sih ingat.
Kawan kau bunuh diri. Kau boleh sih ingat. Apa hubungan kau dengan Mehron? Aku masih lagi terfikir sebab apa aku sama dengan kita orang. Terkurung dalam tu. Aku kenal Dunstan, aku kenal Vinay, aku bawa kenal Awing, aku langsung sekenal. Aku warning kau awal-awal, jangan sesekali main dengan aku.
This is our world today. Complicated ideas, news saturation, information overload. We'll delve into the issues, break down the stories to see what matters and why it matters.
Your hands are not on the wheel and hasn't used anything. Okay, it's moving by itself. Wow. Just don't get fat.
Welcome back to TVS Nightline. Now, good news for Lee Zijia fans. The president of Badminton Association Malaysia, or BAM, Tan Sri Muhammad Nurza Zakaria, has granted Zijia the green light to turn professional. This will allow Zijia to represent Malaysia at the Badminton Asia Team Championships, or BATC 2022, to be held in Shah Alam next month. On his Instagram post, Zijia expressed his relief and was happy that the issue was able to be solved amicably. The current world number 7 urged Malaysians to continue giving support to BAM as well as the country's professional players who were nurtured by BAM. Later at a press conference, Zijia refused to comment when he was asked regarding the 1 million ringgit offer from BAM, which he declined. Meanwhile, BAM Deputy President Datuk Sri Jahabirdin Muhammad Yunus said both sides were satisfied with the outcome of the meeting. And the Winter Olympics, which is slated to take place from February 4 to February 20 in Beijing, will be cooler than usual as visitors are served with ice cream by a robot ice cream parlor sporting a pink and white body to charm visitors to try out the machine.
To buy the ice cream, it must be purchased first at the cashier, who will then present a receipt with a QR code. The QR code will then be scanned on the machine to activate the robot. So far, only vanilla ice cream is served with options of toppings such as cookies, chocolate chips, and various types of sauces. A disclaimer was also set near the machine, as ice cream could potentially cause stomach discomfort when eaten in cold weather.
And that's all the time we have for tonight's TVS Nightline. Once again, if you need any news on the go, follow our social media at TVSTVMY on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Once again, I'm Muhammad Yusuf. Take care and good night.